Welcome back to some more Elite Speak, and we are here to review AEW Dynamite for September 2nd, 2020. Immediately we noticed that Excalibur has made his return to Dynamite. He was on AEW Dark the night before, on Tuesday, and it is great to see him back because he adds a lot to the show, and he actually calls the moves that no one else knows. So he got the move names down, and it was felt, his presence was felt tonight. Good stuff to see him back. First match to kick off the show was Santana and Ortiz versus the Best Friends. Before Santana and Ortiz could finish their entrance, the Best Friends jumped them. Chuck attempted to suplex Santana on the outside of the ring, but it was reversed. Ortiz then proceeds to wallop Chucky with a bag of balls or whatever was in a sack multiple times to Chuck's back on the outside. Trent then flying cross bodies everyone out of nowhere while on the outside of the ring still. The match hasn't even started yet. Chuck later gathered a bunch of chairs and sets them up. Later, Chuck attempts to toss Santana on said pile of chairs, but instead it's Chucky T whom gets it. Instead, he gets tossed on top of this pile of chairs, and that takes out Chuck for quite a bit. He's out of the match for a while after that. The match then officially starts. Trent and Santana kick it off. Ortiz later holds up Trent as Santana gets a kick to Trent's face while Trent was running the ropes. Both Santana and Ortiz double suplex Trent for a 2 count. Later, Trent hits his patented tornado DDT to Ortiz, and he rolls out of the ring after. Chuck is still laid out from the chair spot, so Trent couldn't tag out. Finally, the tag is made. Chuck attempts a hot tag, but he may be a bit sluggish from the chair spot, so it wasn't as effective as they would want it to be. He then hits a tope onto both, to the crowd's delight. By the way, there was a live crowd for the night throughout Dynamite. Good stuff. Trent gets his tag and delivers a knee to Santana. Ortiz then holds Trent as he hits the ropes and flies back into the steel steps. Ortiz then shouts, "Let's end it." Trent hits the crunchy, but the ref counts to 3. But Santana was late for the spot. I believe this was a botch, but it didn't hurt the match. Santana hits Trent in the back with something. It was some kind of baton or whatever it was. And they hit the street sweeper on Trent for the win. So Santana and Ortiz get one over on the Best Friends. I don't think this is over. We may even see Sue get involved in the future. But Santana and Ortiz wins this bout for now. Next, we had an MJF segment. He said this Saturday there's only going to be one ending. Then one of his cabinet members, Lee Johnson, barges in and says he's sorry, but Mark has locked himself in his room. MJF then goes and knocks and says, "Are you in there?" But he was in there, but he was cowering. He didn't want to come out. So Wardlow then kicks in the door and brings Mark out of the room. MJF then delivers a pep talk to Sterling, and MJF ended by saying, "Which monster do you want to deal with tonight?" Nice little segment to boost up the match that would be the main event of the night. Next matchup, we had Private Party and SCU versus the Young Bucks and the Jurassic Express. Winner of this match will face each other at All Out. And I guessed correctly on who would win this match, but we will find out right now. Jungle Boy and Kaz start the match off. Both give us a bit of mat wrestling. Both tag in their partners not long after. Nick Jackson and Mark Quinn enter the ring. Private Party outdoes the Bucks, and Matt slides out the ring and rips up a fan's Page sign in frustration. The sign had a message about Page and his drinks. "Come drink my drink," or whatever he said, but the Young Bucks weren't having this. They tore it up. Showing some heel tendencies here. Nick refused to tag in either Jurassic Express member, So instead, Matt gets the tag instead. More heel tendencies. The crowd chants for Luchasaurus as Kazarian goes wild on Jungle Boy and knocks him down with a clothesline and hits Nick with a cutter. Christopher Daniels then hits an Arabian springboard moonsault to the Bucks. Luchasaurus waiting for his hot tag as the crowd has been dying for him to get into this match. He runs wild on everyone except for Private Party, whom avoids a double chokeslam attempted by Luchasaurus. We then get a stereo risky business from the Bucks and Jurassic Express later in the match. Jungle Boy gets isolated and mugged by Private Party and SCU. Luchasaurus interrupts the count that they attempted, and they deliver a double team powerbomb after the count was interrupted. The BTE trigger ends the match. The Young Bucks and the Jurassic Express will face one another at All Out as a result of this. And I guessed correctly. I figured that would be the more interesting matchup because the two haven't faced each other that much, if at all. The other matchups wouldn't have been as enticing on a pay-per-view. So there you have it. Should be a good match at All Out. And I expect to see more of that Bucks heel tendency come out. Something's going down at All Out, and I can't wait to find out what. Next segment, we had Jake Hager. Jake had a sit down with Orange Cassidy. He bars into Orange Cassidy's locker room. They stared at each other for a bit, and then Jake Hager says, Jericho wants you at ringside tonight. It'd be smart for you to be there, he said. Orange Cassidy then digs in his backpack as it fades to a commercial. Next segment, we had FTR and Tully Blanchard. Tully said, you had to win the gauntlet to get the match. If you didn't, back to the contender race. Tully said, Saturday the prize is in front of you. They're not going to give the gold away. You two are the men to do it, to get it done. Cash then says, this match is the most important of their careers. This match is a 7-figure difference in our income. Sunday, we got all day to be sore. Saturday, you will fear the revelation. That match should be good as well at All Out, the tag team title match. I expect something to go down in that match. Tony Schiavone then interviews Kenny Omega in the ring. He said a week ago, Paige caused the Elite to lose their match. What's going on in your mind? Tony finished. He asked. Omega says everyone in life makes mistakes. What our team has to deal with is FTR will face us at All Out. FTR at the pay-per-view, I hope you bring your A game. We'll bring ours, he said. FTR then comes out and Dax says he's impressed. We have no problem with you. At All Out, we're looking forward to having a great contest. How about we cheer to that, he said. They offer Omega some chocolate milk. And Omega said after he got the chocolate milk, you've gotten to know me pretty well after only a couple of months here. But if you came out to bamboozle me 2 versus 1, well, let's just get it over with. Just do me a kindness, if you will. Keep the old man away from me. I can smell his depends from here, said Kenny Omega as he pointed at Tully Blanchard. Adam Page walked to the ring. Dax said, Adam, explain to Kenny we didn't do anything to you. Explain to Kenny how big of a piece of shite you really are. Kenny cut him off. He said, can't you see? They're still trying to get inside your head, Adam. FTR grabbed the tag belts at this point. Page demanded they hand them back. FTR tossed the belts to the canvas. Page retrieved them. Page turned around to return one of the tag belts to his partner, Kenny Omega, but Omega had already left the ring. Omega was standing alone on the arena floor. Page seemed disappointed and surprised by his partner's actions, and I don't see why he would be surprised. After all that's been going down, I would expect this at this point, that they would be a little uneasy because he has yet to come out and explain himself. But this should be interesting. Looking forward to that match. Next, Marvez interviews Jericho backstage. Marvez said, what can we expect at All Out? And Jericho says, when's the last time you experienced something for the first time? Like kissing a woman, Marvez. He said he's helped make Orange Cassidy a better man. He said, I've shown his mean streak. I've made Orange Cassidy into a main event star, and that's why I need to send him back to where he came from. Tonight, you're a sacrifice, Janela. Bad boy, things are about to get a whole lot worse for you tonight. Good luck with that kiss, Marvez. And Jericho walked off. And there was the match. Jericho versus Janela. Orange Cassidy enters down some stairs with a bag in his hand, and he takes a seat to watch the match. Jericho reveals he's wearing Orange Cassidy's shirt. Janela gets beat down by Jericho to start the match. He gets a clothesline and snapmared immediately after. Janela suffers 2 back suplexes and gets his hair and arms stretched. Janela later gets a mini comeback, but Jericho puts an end to it. Janela then hops from the outside of the ring where the ramp area was into a code breaker and gets a lion tamer put on him, and this wins the match for Jericho via a tap out. Janela barely got any offense in. He was made to look like a chump here, but he should be fine in the end. Post-match, Jericho continues to maul Janela. He exposed the turnbuckle and drove Janela's head into it. Jericho then wipes Janela's blood on his Orange Cassidy shirt and then throws it at Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy looks at it and then, like the Flash, darts to the ring and goes for Jericho, but Hager stops it. Sonny later makes the save, kinda. He gets slammed via Jake Hager. Orange Cassidy later goes for an orange punch on Jericho, but he got out of the ring in time. Orange Cassidy reached in his bag, and there it was, Jericho's own bubbly, and Orange Cassidy poured it out onto the ring mat. The disrespect is real. This match should be interesting at All Out, the Mimosa Mayhem. I hope it delivers. Otherwise, it will get panned by a lot of people. Sammy Guevara came out with his cards. He said, last week you witnessed the destruction of a legend, a pro wrestling icon, the breaking of Matt Hardy, the master of the tables match. At All Out, not only will you lose, you will be deleted, gone, and forgotten. And Matt Hardy was in the arena looking down upon Sammy as this was going on in the picture-in-picture. Nice visual. Too bad we didn't get to see it in full, but the match should be good because their match on Dynamite last week was a little too short, so they should get the full time to do what they got to do at the pay-per-view, and I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. Team Taz, well, this is a segment. Next segment, Team Taz makes their way out to the ring. Taz, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage. Turns out they're in the Battle Royal. Taz says, so here's the deal. This Saturday, one of these two will win the Battle Royal. Darby Allin, if you don't realize Starks is not going to destroy you, son, wake up. You're dead meat. Speaking of that big schmuck, he called Lance a big schmuck and said, who'd he ever beat? Lance, you can't deal with... And then Jake interrupts Taz, returning the favor from last week when Taz interrupted him. Jake says, you're a couple of squirrels trying to get a nut. You won't bust a nut with us two in the ring. You're going to walk out with nothing. What I picture here is the best set of losers I've ever seen. Don't play into that game. Let's have some fun. He was talking to Lance Archer at that point. Then Eddie Kingston comes out with his goons. We got a teaser of what to expect from the Battle Royale. Everyone involved in the match just came out at this point, and a brawl ensued. It was alright, but it went on a bit too long for most fans' taste, most fans' liking, but it got the message across. I just hope the Battle Royale is good. We shall see how they book it. Next match was the best of the night, in my opinion. Match of the night, and that went to Thunder Rosa NWA's Thunder Rosa, their women's champion, versus Serena Deeb, a former WWE talent. Both were great in this match. Both Thunder Rosa and Deeb tied up with a collar and elbow, and Rosa took down Deeb. Thunder Rosa sent Deeb flying halfway across the ring with 2 drop kicks. Deeb countered with a neck breaker and then drove Rosa's knee into the mat repeatedly. Thunder Rosa used multiple nasty neck breakers on Deeb and then a running leg drop. Thunder Rosa built momentum with knee strikes and then followed up with a low drop kick on Deeb. Rosa dumped Deeb with a Death Valley driver, and somehow Deeb kicked out. Both trade 2 counts via pin attempts with great athleticism. Rosa then hits the Thunder driver on Deeb for the win. And I thought it was a great match, and it's too bad that we don't get these often enough in AEW. This was the best women's match in months, in my opinion. And I hope we get to see more of this caliber on Dynamite going forward. And I really hope that AEW brings back Serena Deeb, because she was great in this match. A great veteran, and she could be nice behind the scenes as well for that division. Good stuff. I'm looking forward to Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa's match at All Out. Should be good. I just hope it's not a one-off with this NWA thing they got going. We shall see going forward. So we go from that great women's match to a segment featuring Moxley backstage cutting a promo. He says, "We're here. It's Champ Week. This Saturday, you get your shot." He's talking to MJF. "Don't sweat the process, the nerves, posters, media, answering the same dumb question thousands of times. This Saturday, all that crap goes away, and it's me and you. There's one question left to answer. We're going to need the most savage MJF to take me out. We don't need MJF running around with the title. I can't let that happen. This is your moment. Trial by fire. Kill or be killed." And that was the promo. Very good. We go from that to a interview. Tony Schiavone interviews Swole, Big Swole. Swole said, "Britt, you've been ducking and dodging for months. This Saturday, we'll be fighting tooth and nail." Then later, a pizza lady distracts both Tony and Swole. It was obvious who this pizza lady was. Swole says, "You ain't fooling nobody," and then gets hit in the back with a crutch. And who do you know? Who do you think it was? It was Britt Baker, who did this dastardly deed. And the pizza girl was Reba, I believe. Britt then gives Swole the lockjaw for a long while, and then smears the pizza in Big Swole's face to end the segment. A perfectly wasted pizza. I would have loved to devour that sucker. But the segment accomplished what it had to do. Finally, Britt was able to stand on her own 2 feet and get her hands on Swole, who's been tormenting her for months. Such a conspiracy. And the match will be on the buy-in for All Out. Should be interesting. I heard it might be cinematic, but we shall see. Should be entertaining. And then we had our main event. Jon Moxley, the AEW World Champion, versus Smart Mark Sterling, the lawyer. Wardlow forces Sterling to the ring. Mox asked for forgiveness before the match started because he could not be blamed for what he was going to do to this guy. Mox jumps at Sterling, and then Sterling falls back into the corner. Sterling circles Mox, but Mox has had enough. He offers Sterling a free shot. He goes for it, but Sterling gets slapped to hell and he rolls out of the ring. Mox gives him a free shot to the back, and Mox dodges it as Sterling flies outside of the ring. Sterling then pokes Mox in the eye and gets a clothesline for his troubles. Mox is done playing games at this point. He throws Sterling against the rails and throws crap on top of him outside the ring. He even takes his shoes off and beats him over the back with it a few times. And then later, Mox offers his hand to Sterling, and then eye pokes him and gets the paradigm shift for the win. There's a no doubter. The match was hilarious though. Wardlow then runs through Mox, and Moxley gets 2 F10s for his troubles. MJF then comes out with his walker, but then while in the ring, he takes off his neck brace, and miraculously he doesn't need the walker or his neck brace anymore. Shocker. MJF then beats down a broken down Mox. MJF said, "This is what you want? You want violence? You got it," as MJF screamed at the top of his lungs. MJF then knocks Mox out with his diamond ring given to him via Wardlow, and then bites Mox's bleeding head. And the show ended with MJF standing tall over a bloody Jon Moxley. Now, this tells me, I thought the segment was great, by the way. It was good. It did what it had to do. Sold you the match for the pay-per-view. But this tells me, I have a sneaky suspicion now, before this match I would have thought that MJF was going to win the title. But after this, he got the one up on Jon Moxley here, but that has me thinking that he is not going to lose. This makes me think that Moxley will retain. For some reason, I think Moxley's going to retain because he got beat down, and I don't think he would get beat down again at the pay-per-view. But this is one of those matches where you can't really tell where they're going to go with it. You can't tell who's going to win, really. So they have that going for it. Intrigue, and you don't know. It's unpredictable. So that's good. I wouldn't be surprised if MJF wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Mox retains. Either way, I am down for it. It'll be fine. Looking forward to this match also. But also, it was pointed out that as MJF was beating down a bloody Moxley, Wardlow was holding the World Championship, looking down at it while MJF was doing his thing. Foreshadowing here. It's a nice little tidbit of storytelling. Sooner or later, Wardlow will break from MJF. We just don't know when. But he has his eye on that championship, though. So, in the future, expect a Wardlow title match. He could be the champ one day, and I would not be surprised. But there you have it. The go-home show for Dynamite. And it was good. It was a solid show. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best go-home show. It was in the middle. About a 3.5 out of 5, I would give it. A 3 to 3.5. It was about average. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. It could have been better, but there you have it. Thank you for listening. We will have the ratings as well after this. I have the ratings for AEW Dynamite on the Wednesday. As we all know, Dynamite went unopposed to NXT. Dynamite was on its own on Wednesday, and the ratings showed it. AEW draws over 900,000 viewers unopposed. Good numbers. It got over 928,000 views. 928,000 viewers. AEW ranked number 8 in the 18 to 49 demographic with a .36 rating. NXT drew strong numbers of its own for its Super Tuesday broadcast, as its 849 viewers was up by 3% from the 824,000 viewers from last week's unopposed show. NXT ranked number 10 in the 18 to 49 demographic with a .26 rating. This compared to NXT falling out of the top 50 to number 65 with a .16 rating in the 18 to 49 demo the last time it went head-to-head with AEW on August 12. Good stuff. You like to see it. Both shows are growing. If unopposed, the numbers could get even better. But things go back to normal in a few weeks. So both shows will be back on Wednesdays in the coming weeks. So though, there you have it. The ratings numbers for AEW Dynamite for Wednesday's unopposed Dynamite show. Thanks for listening.